Hey everyone, how are you? So today I want to talk about the divine gifts. I learned about this when I did my soul realignment. I did it with one person and they uncovered divine truth, which completely made sense on why I was just so brutally honest with people and I don't tell lies and I'm so honest and I didn't learn subterfuge, right? Like I've just clawed all over people and I wasn't supposed to say things and I didn't know because I'm just naturally like gonna tell it like it is. Didn't even understand that there was subtleties and layers to anything. So you can imagine it was a very fun 34 years for me growing up until I figured this out. And then I went to someone who solely focuses on divine gifts, and they found that it was divine truth and divine power. And when I heard it was divine power, I was like, oh, that's why I keep getting fired. So I want to I'm going to go, or why I kept getting laid off, or why I can't just follow people, because I am a natural leader. That is how I was, but I didn't realize divine power gives you those gifts. And this video is going to focus on what they are. The second video is what you need to do to be consistently abundant. Not necessarily all of your dreams, but you're going to be completely taken care of if you do listen and pay attention to them. So, because they're a gift, right? And so if you use your gifts, you're good. If you do not use your gifts, what I've learned spiritually, your life constricts because you're here to use your gifts for a certain goal. If you use your gifts without the certain goal, but you're using and implementing your gifts daily, you're still okay. Because that is honoring what is going on. It's when you combine it with your higher purpose where the floodgates open. So, let me first talk about the 8 different soul gifts. These gifts are amazing. You pretty much, at least I don't know if other people can see it, but I can tell a lot about what you're here to do by what type of gifts you have, because they do work either by themselves or in conjunction with each other. Now, you're not going to be exact with your higher purposes, but it will be giving you the exact avenue of what you're supposed to be doing. Now, higher purpose, the actual spiritual work where you find out what your actual calling is, that is specifically this group of people with this, right? Like I know I'm supposed to help this group of people with this. And that only came with the spiritual journey. Although if I looked at my spiritual gifts, I started incorporating them within my real estate investing business. And it was really cool that I was doing that. And I've been successful with that business, affordable real estate investments, if you want to click over to my other YouTube channel to see the growth and success of that. But, I was incorporating it within that business. And then I found out, no, there's a whole other avenue that you're supposed to take, not just the people there. Although some of the people within your real estate investing business are, think they're there for real estate, but they're actually attracted to you because of the bigger contract that you've had with them. So let's just go over them. It is divine love is a gift, divine compassion, divine order, divine power, divine wisdom, divine truth, divine creation, and divine self-expression. So I have to look at my notes because I know mine really well, but the ones that I don't have a big supply of, I don't pay as much attention to. That's for you guys, right? We're all different. So let's go over what my summary of what I see divine gifts are. And you know what? am going to go into what you're supposed to do with each of those gifts, because in explaining what they are, you sort of go into what they do. And then at the end, I'm going to explain how you must implement that in your life and express those gifts every single day, or else the world will keep knocking you over and knocking you around until you do. So make life easier on yourself. Trust me. And go into those details. So divine love is an amazing thing. My husband and daughter are divine love. My mom is divine love. Your job is simply to love those with no judgment. So if someone who's having a terrible day gets around someone with a gift of divine love, that person is automatically going to send a healing wave of love to them. That person will automatically, without judgment, go, hey, what can I do to make your life better? So their job is literally to love people. And it is a blessing. People with divine love, now they have some negatives, and everything has a negative and positive. So the thing is, sometimes their negative is that they need to learn boundaries, and sometimes they give love too much without putting the boundaries into make sure that person needs, wants, or asks for their love, right? Because they have such a strong, they can't not love. They cannot love the bum on the street, the homeless person on the street. They cannot love the person who might be in jail. Like, they will. That is their gift. But boundaries come into play in how do you express that love, or giving love to someone who's not ready to give love back. They haven't gotten to that level. So you're giving love and expecting it to come back because that's how the world works, right? But they're not, because they're not there yet. But you didn't put your boundaries up to make sure that when you gave it, that you put it within the right parameters and circumstances so that it's mutually beneficial. And that's just something that's not part of their head, like, of course you're going to give it back. So divine love. So I know, just spiritually, just going a little bit more in depth, there's a concept that you choose your family, and I'm surrounded by so many loving people, and I know that I myself don't have those natural tendencies to non-judgmental, compassionate love. I actually had to learn compassion. I really did. I thought everybody knew what I did, so if they weren't achieving things in life, it's their fault because they had the same abilities I did. So it was pretty judgmental, but I have since learned that everyone's unique. Some people don't see what you see, Lisa, and you can't judge them for you. What you do is you try to see where you can bridge the gap and help, and want to bridge the gap and help. So that's a completely different mind shift. But that's their job, just to non-judgmentally love whoever they are supporting. It could be animals, it could be people. Your mom might be one of the person with divine love, because you usually need one person in the household. They're the ones that hold it together, and they hold it together with love because they love you. And even if you argue with your brother and sister, they love them, and they're able to put everyone together and make sure we keep getting together. Because if it was up to you two, you guys would just keep arguing for the rest of your life. But because of that one central person, they're the glue that you can keep coming back to each individually and keep a society, a unit, a family together. They're very extremely important. But like I said, they must learn boundaries. I see it with my daughter all the time. She sees like, oh, a cat. And the cat or dog is just completely not into kids. They're growling. And she's like, she's 2. But you could really see how that initial instinct comes out and how she needs to learn about it. And she's like, let me hug you. And the dog's like, you're like, baby, we got to learn some boundaries. I know you're in. Now I know, because I took the time to find out what her soul information was. Once I found that I could find mine, I know that she needs to learn that, but you can really see it so clearly. They just don't have any boundaries about, or sometimes she thinks every grown-up likes her. And some grown-ups are like, get your kid away from me. And she's like, hey, aren't you going to talk to me? And they're like, no. Right? Like, you can see that, well, of course you're going to love me. Like, I love you. Like, of course you're not going to judge me. And you definitely see how, and I don't know, there has to be people who are listening to me who are of divine love, and they sort of instinctively know it, because they hold people together. They hold the space. And sometimes you give too much love, and you just expected everyone to give it back like you. Just like I expect with my warrior soul, sometimes I expect everyone to know or tell the truth or to do this, or of course they're not. And that's just something that we lost, and we really need to understand we're all different for a reason. We all have these beautiful gifts. The next one we can talk about is divine order. Some of you guys are natural, organized people. If you are around, these are going to be going. If they're going to go straight, you'll do the work. You love doing the work of organizing. Someone else will be like, yeah, I'll do it because I have to. You're like, no, I want to do it because it'll be done right. We need people like you in our lives. Sometimes I get the negative can be that you're so organized that you're losing track that there's a bigger issue at hand, that maybe speed is of essence. Maybe we can't be as detail oriented. So there can be some negatives and some conflicts that come with it. Personally, when you're just trying to organize, or you're trying to organize and order things that you don't have the permission to, right? So there are going to be times when it comes into conflict, but in general, personally, I love people with divine order. I can tell when they're there because they're like, okay, look, I made a spreadsheet of this and this. We're going to do it like this. And then I have a tracker. I love those people. They're so efficient. So personally, Lisa's your biggest fan. But then again, I'm also a CEO type. So you need people who are naturally organized to do what they need to do. So divine order is actually a gift. Now, some of these gifts are just on their own, but mostly you have 2 gifts, right? And it's the interesting interaction of each gift. What if we get divine order and divine truth, or divine order and divine self-expression? That's when it really gets interesting to see how you're supposed to help people. So, okay, let's go to the third one. So we have divine love, we have divine order. Then we have divine compassion. Divine compassion are those that just simply want to help. So divine love, I love. I can't help loving. Divine compassion, I can't help helping. I will help you. They're the ones who join Greenpeace. They're the one, and which is good because they're following their passion. They're the ones who help the homeless. They're the ones that just get up and help. They lend a helping hand. They're at their feet on the ground. They are volunteers. So divine compassion are the foot soldiers of positive change. They are the foot soldiers of the environmental change. We love them. I know sometimes personally I used to feel so bad because I just didn't have that compassion. Like my role in life as a priest is to learn compassion, that being my main archetype. But I did learn it, but like I've always admired those people, and I always felt a little bad about myself that I didn't want to go to an inner city school and teach 8-year-old kids, like I'll teach college students. Like to me, like I have very strict parameters of who I want to help, right? Just naturally, like I don't want to help kids, but an adult who can talk and be responsible, yes, that's my thing. And I always judge myself because I never had that in me. But with learning who you are, there's a lot of forgiveness that you should have towards yourself because you are supposed to learn compassion. That's not going to be you, but don't judge yourself for being different because you have skills those people with divine compassion can use so that a big business can be built for it, or nonprofits can successfully be built from it. Okay, so those are those with divine compassion. They can't help but lend a helping hand. Helping hand. They are helping. One another gift that is out there is divine creation. So divine creation are those who need to create and express through any medium. It can be painting. It can be through art. It can be through um, tools, sculpture, stone. They create out of the physical. They create items in this world. So they're definitely an artist. They create something from this. Maybe they have 4 matchsticks, but they can make a piece of art. They create from what is available. So they create from what is abundant. Anything can be their canvas. And we need them in our lives. FYI, I donate to an art foundation, and there's these stories of there's 2 cities during the Great Depression in Colorado. One city had a local theater. The other city did not, but everything else was pretty much the same. But during the Great Depression, the one city that had no theater, no art, no music, no place for fun, did not do well. The place that had the theater, that had the art, that had the thriving scene, absolutely did weather the depression. So in a lot of respects, if you compare places side by side, you'll see the one with the vibrant creation scene, the vibrant artist scene, are the ones that can completely survive because people are so attracted to it. They'll travel from around to go there and then to go back to wherever they might go. So they're always going to be consistently supported by the people who want to come. So it's an interesting story I found, but like it's true when you look at it. There's a reason New York has a ton of Broadway musical theaters, bands, this and that, and it's one of the most thriving scenes in the world. So it's just something really interesting. So that's the role artists play. It's not just about, if you have 2 communities to live in, the one with a vibrant art scene that's beautiful and fun, that's the one instinctively as human inside of us that we're going to be attracted to, right? So it's not just a beautiful thing. It literally draws in people to congregate around it, and that's when you get a community, and that's where you can grow, and we can use each other's the power of each other to go further. The next soul gift that there is divine self-expression. Now, the interesting thing about people with divine expression, for what the people I've met, is that they are writers. They think about writing. They do write. They write. If you don't write, the world doesn't look the same as when they do. They can write a personal journal. They can write a fake story they'll never publish, or they write published books. But there are writers. But there's so many things to be. There's so much good about a writer. I know there's books that have changed people's lives and you have no clue about it. Or there's books you've read that I don't know about that changed your life. We need that sharing of truths and information in such a visceral way, even if it's an audiobook. And the people of divine self-expression do that. They're really good as writers, but they can express in different ways, but writing is the main medium. They tend to be journalists and newspaper writers and reporters, things like that. And their goal in life is to learn how to express verbally as well as with the written. Some do really well, but what they really need is to be able to express themselves. If they can't express themselves, it's like what do you call it? It's like a flower who's only getting a trickle of sun when it needs the full sunbeam, right? It'll slowly wither and die. So like their job is to learn to express themselves because they have so much inside to share with the world. The next one we have is divine truth. This is me. Divine truth is that it's people who are naturally honest and who always speak the truth. They always speak their truth. I remember when I started my real estate investing business, I just came on and talked about all the mistakes I made. And you know, they were just things I needed to tell the whole story. But then I realized when I got emails of people admitting that they made mistakes too, and they were embarrassed to tell people. And I realized that, it's a gift to be able to tell the truth about yourself. When I share my truth about my mistakes, it let other people who make the same mistakes come forward. Right? When I can say this thing has happened, it helps other people to come forward, then we all shift the energy and get out of the energy of what was to the energy of like what can be now, what's new, right? So it is so important that people share stories, and so many people have stories, and it's just like when you hear about the Catholic abuse cases or this or that, and people were silent for so long, and for those 20 years, so many things happen. I am not saying it's easy. I'm just saying it's through the sharing of truth that justice can be served, that other people can come forth, that a community can grieve, console, and just maybe get past some things that were kept quiet. So divine truth is absolutely essential. When you hear an inspirational speaker talk, so people with divine truth speak. We have a very strong and very upgraded and mature throat chakra. So our ability to communicate, to articulate, can change things. From what I've learned, we actually have but we actually can shift energy with just our voice talking. It's funny, when I started my YouTube videos that I was like, people really are listening to like hours of my videos, right? And, to your own voice, you're like, I sound like that. But what I didn't realize is that bigger than me, I have divine truth as my gift. So when I speak about my truth, when I speak in general, there is a quality about it that has been given a purpose and a gift to help move people to action. That's also the priest soul type in me too that I'm going to talk about in another video. So between those two, the priest gives me the ability to inspire. That's a natural gift of being the priest archetype. And you combine it with my divine truth, where speaking is such a powerful medium. I'm literally given the ability and the gifts to inspire people to action by speaking, right? You see these all tie in together for a specific purpose. So when you are of divine truth, it is, you speak the truth, you are the truth, but you're given that gift because you need to speak the truth. You need to be honest about what's going on so that other people can come forward. It has not always been easy. Sometimes I just put what I thought was my foot in my mouth, but at the end of the day, I wasn't. I was just speaking truth to power, and I keep speaking it, because where you actually end up is where you need to be with that truth. I know I did some past life work and found out me speaking the truth got me in trouble, but it gave me a strength of who I am. So today in this lifetime, when I'm so close to my source and I listen to my voice, that came from a past life where my gifts were seen and my abilities were seen, and I was burned for witchcraft, but I never wavered, never backed down. And so in this life, I'm so strong to who I am because I knew that was the right way, that it helped me in this life. So yeah, sometimes negative things happen, but for the future of the country and the world, because everyone has a place a role you're playing on this earth. It's just so few of us are doing it, right? You are doing exactly what you need to do for this earth's survival and for this nation's survival, or for the people around me who need you to be you. So that's divine truth. And then you have divine power. I love my divine power. I love it with my power and my truth. I really love my gifts. Everyone should love their gifts, and I love my gifts. So divine power is you are someone who can take power. You are powerful. You can see and figure out things you can manifest what you want. So my whole real estate investing business is a good example, is because I just wanted to invest in real estate, but I had a foreclosure. So how do I invest in rental properties? And you have the ability to create and manifest, and drawing the assistance and figure out a way to do that, which I did. I found low income areas. No one's talking about it. This is how you navigate it personally, this system, this, and I'll just flow through once I wanted something. So you have the power to create. And when you put that power towards complex things, it's great because you're able to take anything that seems complex to people and make it very easy. So I'm looking around at all these people with spirituality and I'm like, why don't you just say this, 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 and this? I don't get why you're making this so hard. Well, that's because that's a gift to be able to see something and be able to teach it. Like you're able to see things like a syncretist. You can see a whole bunch of different pieces and match it together. And it reminds me of a story when I was in an engineering class and I took electrical engineering and we're in a nanotechnology class and and it's always the most difficult things that I tend to really just resonate with and, manifest an answer. And, he's talking about how, during the fabrication of these microchips, you do etching, but like it's a random process. And he was like, so when you're etched, you never know quite how it's going to, he's talking and everyone's listening and I'm getting it. And he asked this questions and there's a room full of 60 people, half of them grad students, whatever. And he's like, what's the issue with that? And I was like, well, you don't know how each problem's going to come out. It's too variable, right? And it was funny because everyone looked at me like, shit, you got that answer to that question on that microchip? And I was like, yeah, but it's like, to me, that was more of an example of divine power coming through, where I just have the ability to resonate and some of the complex items that we do in this world. You are just giving such a clear solution, like you can understand it and take all those moving parts. I love that. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world, but everything I want, I got, so I'm cool, right? And that's a gift. And the second part of the gift is that I need to teach it. You are powerful to empower others. I speak truth to other people can see their truth and speak their truth. Are you with me? You love so other people can learn to love. That's why my husband and my daughter have it. Because when I get to my natal birth chart, you'll notice Venus was in retrograde. All right. I don't know why, but it was. So I had to learn to love. I had to learn compassion. And not everyone can see what I saw, you are divine order, so you can help give order to other people so they can see it. You are divine. So understand your gifts are to help others with that particular part of themselves, right? So that's divine power. We're really good we want power. We have no we have no problems with money, no money mindset. Money is a tool that can be used positively. We make great CEO and business owners, which is when I said I always got fired or I laid off or I quit my jobs because I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that, which catches up with you. Right? I just didn't think what they were doing. I was like, that's not right. I don't know. That's stupid. I don't think that's the right way to do. And I just wouldn't do it. Like, you couldn't budge me when I'd get escorted out the door pretty quickly or I'd leave pretty quickly because I was like, why don't you understand me? But as my business owner, my real estate investing business, my coaching business for real estate investing, I have the natural ability to be a natural leader. I'm a great CEO. I outsource. I don't micromanage. I give clear directives. So all that bumping, and then I finally got laid off, and I was like, let me do the coaching full time, and it went straight from $1,500 a month to $15,000, right? Like, it just flew because my gift is to be able to leave and be entrepreneurial. We need people like us because we are great. We're not people who are making money as entrepreneurs. We're pure entrepreneurs or pure business people who know how to manage all these working parts, like a true CEO. So that's the beautiful part. So when you listen to that thing and you finally go into it, you will be okay. We are going to do a membership group with my business partner, Michelle, and she's divine power. And she was the only one when I got started on this journey, I could just talk about, oh my gosh, I just quit. She's like, I've been fired from 50 jobs. I'm like, girl, like every 12 to 18 months, it's like, goodbye, I'm getting escorted out or I'm leaving because I'm mad. And it was just so refreshing to talk to someone. She's also divine power because she got her soul gift reading as well. And I was just like, but she's doing great in her business. I'm doing great in my business. Like, we are those people, right? And so we definitely have a place in this world because I know she helps people launch people to best-selling book lists for Amazon best-selling authors. So she helps launch people's stories, their voice, their truth into the world. with what she does, and I help empower people financially to have the breathing room so they can focus on their higher purpose. We're both in alignment with helping someone do, helping people do what they need to do to truly express themselves. So definitely supported, right? Like, we're not just in business just to make money. We're in business that really helps shift and change other people's lives. And that's also why we've been pretty successful. The abundance part for other people was always a piece, as well as expressing our gifts. Um, so yeah, and then the last one is divine wisdom. So this is just an inner knowing. These people, just to them, common sense seems normal. It's not, like, right, but to them it is. They just don't understand why people don't get it. They come with such an intense personal knowing and understanding of why things are and how they are and what's the best way to do. And their biggest thing is to take counsel. So their biggest thing is, for when someone comes to them for help, they need to immediately give it. And sometimes they can't stop themselves. So they just have a knowing. Other people, like, my brother has divine wisdom, and I'm like, we grew up in, lower income, working class Black family, and he's managed to navigate through the ranks, going to BYU and Weyerhaeuser, and now he works for a college. He's director of this, vice chancellor of this, and from someone from our social background, we don't necessarily have those social skills, right? And or just have that social navigation, but he always just had it so naturally, and he did. It was divine wisdom. There was also a story of how he used to read the encyclopedia for fun as a kid, like who's this kid in the middle of the ghetto reading Britannica, right? Like the one set we have, but he would, like, that's sort of, people with divine wisdom also take in wisdom really, really rapidly, and they love it, and it's not a hardship for them, whereas other people, they'd be bored to death. But they need to take counsel. So when you recognize someone with divine wisdom, you're supposed to go ask them for help. He's kept me from getting fired a couple times, so I'm like, Ernest, just like, you can't do that. I'm like, well, okay, thank you. But, good thing was I just recognized it. So, like, once every 3-4 months, be it with my marriage, be it with my job, you have those people you can go talk to, and they just give you a perspective you just don't see. You just don't see it. You don't have it in you to see what they see. That's their gift. I can figure out, manifest what I want, and then teach it. They can see what they see. And so those are the 8 soul gifts. And so let me just rephrase what you have to do when you have these gifts. And that's why it's so important to know these gifts, because they give you an inkling of what you're here to do. Although you still need to do higher purpose work, you can still see. Divine love. Your job is to love people unconditionally. Just make sure you put your boundaries in place, so you're not giving too much love, or you don't self-care, so you're completely burnt out like my mom was, and just don't know how to take time and go, maybe I need to shut down for 3 days and just be with me. I can't take care of you. I just need to recharge. So they need boundaries and self-care. You have divine compassion. Those are the people who need to lead the helping hand. If that's what you want to do, say you're a CEO and you're not really helping people, you're just making the bottom line for a company richer. On your weekends, you need to be helping at the soup kitchen, right? You need to express that level. You were given the gift of compassion to help this world, and you truly are fulfilled with helping. But if you don't do it, the world will constrict around you until you get a bump on the head, or a horrible accident that makes you wake up and open your eyes, because the world has a way of giving you really big wake-up calls when you don't honor these gifts inside of you. The next one is divine order. So if you're not organizing themes, events, lives, you need to get on it, because that is your gift in conjunction with something else. If you are divine creation, you need to be expressing your creation through different mediums, but you need to be creating. So if you're a computer programmer, but you're not creating a program, if after school or at home, you need to be taking some matchsticks or painting figurines. You need to be doing something creative where what was here, you made it into something new with your ingenuity and actions. I don't have that. That's not me. Although I am a patron of the arts. I will buy your art tickets. I'll go to your art shows, and I will buy your paintings. right? And so you have divine self-expression. You guys need to express yourself. For the most part, your challenge in life is to learn how to verbally express yourself, because that tends to be, it's like the stereotypical introspective writer who can write and write and write, and you look at their works, but when you meet them in person, they're not so loquacious. Their duty is to learn the verbal part, but to express themselves in their writing, because it's also a form of them sharing their truth. Me, I share my truth through my speaking. They share their truth through their writing. But at the end of the day, a book can change your life. I know 6 or 7 books that absolutely shifted the energy of myself into another stratosphere. And you do too, right? Or even audiobook if you're not into it, or a movie, right? And so you need that. Then you have divine truth. Your job is to speak your truth, and it's not always comfortable, but you're doing the right thing if you do. And it's through speaking your truth, other people can speak their truth, that they resonate and feel within you and come forward. And it's in that coming forward, sometimes people who are victims can go from victimhood to understanding that you're not alone, to understanding what they need to do to get out of it. So you really can be instrumental in changing someone's life. And divine wisdom or power, my favorite. You're a natural leader. You're very powerful. You want power, which means you need to be in a leading position. You can manifest easily, but in doing those manifesting of what you create, you need to be able to teach it to other people who also would like to know. If you've been given the gift of teaching, you're going to be a good teacher. Usually when you have a high school and you have that one teacher is really, really good, they're probably divine power. Like, they have the gift of teaching, and you have that gift so that you can give back and empower other people in whatever method that you've been able to empower yourself. I love my divine power, although it makes us very impatient because we want it now. I was like, when I read that, I was like, yeah, my entire life. Divine wisdom, you are this divine knowing. You've been gifted with an internal intuition and guidance system that's spot on accurate. You're able to see the common sense situation or solutions that other people just cannot see. You can see so many moving parts, but you must be taking counsel. So you can do whatever you want. Like, my brother can be vice chancellor, but when I come to him for help, he needs to help. When other people come to him in confidence, he needs to give back. That is his gift to the world, and for people to use that. So those are the 8 soul gifts. They are instrumental in understanding who you are. I was surprised that there weren't more videos on this stuff, but I'm like, the world needs to know, and I know my mission is to help other people know themselves. So I'm telling you, these are the most important things. You can do whatever you want, but these are the most important. So I hope that helps, and I would just like to say, signing off, and we'll get a little bit more, but you're almost there. Thank you.